So what if I told you there's this incredible technology out there that can make our food way healthier, but without messing with the taste, and at the same time make our medicines work even better? It's this quiet revolution that's happening across a bunch of different industries, and it all boils down to taking simple liquid oils and turning them into something, well, completely new.
Okay, just take a look at these frankfurters. They look totally normal, right? And according to all the research, they have the exact same texture as a regular sausage. Here's the catch, though. They were made with zero traditional solid animal fat. None. Instead, they're using a healthy vegetable oil.
So yeah, how is that even possible? How can you get a liquid oil to act like a solid? To give you that structure and that mouthfeel we all expect from something like beef fat? Well, the answer is a really clever bit of food science.
To really get the solution, we first have to understand the problem. Let's call it the solid fat problem. And honestly, it's a dilemma that a lot of us run into every single time we're at the grocery store.
You know the deal. The things that make foods like pastries, sausages, and spreads so satisfying, that texture, comes from solid fats. And those are often loaded with unhealthy saturated and trans fats. We all know that liquid oils like olive oil or canola oil are way better for us, but you can't just swap them out. If you did, you'd completely ruin the food structure.
For years, food scientists have been trying to figure out how to get the best of both worlds. And now, it looks like they've actually found it. The technology is called an oleogel.
So what in the world is an oleogel? It's a pretty brilliant idea when you break it down. Imagine taking a healthy liquid oil and then building this microscopic three-dimensional cage right inside of it. This network, it's made from a gelling agent, and it basically acts like a tiny sponge. It traps all the oil so it can't flow around anymore. And what's the result? A liquid oil that now acts and feels like a solid fat.
And you know, the process itself is surprisingly simple. You just start with your oil, add a little bit of a gelling agent, they call it an oleogelatator, and you heat the whole thing up. That heat activates the agent. Then, as it cools down, the molecules in the agent basically build themselves into that complex 3D network, gelling the oil into a semi-solid.
That all sounds great in theory, but how is this tiny little network actually built? What is this gelling agent made of? Well, let's look at one of the most promising ones that scientists are using right now. The secret ingredient in a lot of these gels is something called ethyl cellulose, or just EC for short. It's a food-grade polymer, and get this, it's derived from cellulose, which is just the most common plant fiber on the entire planet. So it's safe, it's cheap, and it is incredibly good at structuring oils. Now this slide really shows you the magic. On the left, you see the ethyl cellulose as just a simple powder, but on the right, whoa. After it's been heated up in oil, it creates this beautiful, intricate web-like network. That is the microscopic sponge that holds the oil in place, giving a liquid all the properties of a solid. It's amazing.
Okay, so we have this amazing tech that can turn pretty much any healthy oil into a structured fat. But what can we actually do with it? This is where it starts to get really exciting.
The first, most obvious place to use this is in our food. By swapping out traditional hard fats like butter, shortening, or animal fat with these oleogels, we can slash the saturated fat and dramatically improve the nutritional profile of so many foods, all while keeping the texture and mouthfeel that people actually want. And this chart shows you exactly why it works so well. Look what happens when you just replace beef fat with liquid canola oil. The texture gets all wrong, way too chewy. But when you use an oleogel made from that exact same canola oil, look at that. The texture is almost identical to the original beef fat. It mimics it perfectly. Problem solved.
So that's the food side of things, which is huge. But the story does not end in the kitchen, not even close. It turns out the same unique properties that make oleogels so great for food also make them incredible for medicine.
See, the oleogel structure is just perfect for topical creams and ointments. That lipid-rich base helps drugs get through the outer layer of our skin more easily. Plus, it can provide a sustained release, so the medicine keeps working for longer. Studies have shown this helps with everything from antifungal treatments for athlete's foot to even helping burn wounds heal faster.
And the applications get even more advanced. Take probiotics, for example. These are delicate, living bacteria. For them to work, they have to survive the super harsh acid in our stomachs. So by putting them inside an oleogel, scientists can create this kind of protective shield, making sure they get released in the intestines right where they're needed most.
So let's just pull this all together. We're talking about healthier sausages, more effective medicines, smarter supplements. When you step back and look at it, the potential here is just enormous.
The key takeaway, really, is that oleogels are a true platform technology. This isn't just one cool invention for one specific problem. It's a whole new way of thinking about materials. By just restructuring a basic liquid oil, we can solve huge problems in totally different industries, from making our food better to making our medicine work more effectively.
This is just a perfect example of how material science is literally reshaping our world, starting with something as basic as cooking oil. Just by changing its physical structure on a microscopic level, we unlock a whole new universe of possibilities. And it really makes you wonder, right? What other simple, everyday materials are just sitting there waiting to be redesigned?